Hello, everyone. Welcome to some Twilight Struggle. I'm not a big fan of Twilight Struggle at the moment. I had a rough sweep at the hands of Michael Patnick in the ITSL playoffs yesterday and Monday. It put me in a bit of a foul, salty mood, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry anybody who watched my stream yesterday had to deal with my moroseness and my I've made some I made some tilted plays late in the game after some things went against me. I don't think it would have affected the outcome, but still, I need to do better and play better. So I know you all expect a higher level of play from me moving forward, and that is what I aim to deliver. But today, I'm not playing. I'm just watching, commenting. So we've got Peter Frantz, and we've got Tim Furrow. So we'll be watching from Peter's perspective, but I want everybody watching the stream to look for Timmy mistakes, and let's see if we can count those up and mock Timmy for those mistakes. Whereas we can also form the most charitable impression of Peter's plays. So let's see if we can do that. And like I said, watch from Peter's side. Peter is the U.S. and we've got an excellent containment hand here for Peter. Even if he gets purged, this is a good containment hand. Rather, especially if he gets purged. And so, yeah, I think that we're looking at an easy containment headline. And then, we've got some 2s and 3s for ops here. We can hold decall for blockade. Probably give Fidel. Because at 3 ops, probably worth it. And then, so not a bad hand here for Peter. Not a great hand either, but not too bad. And a Nasser headline from Tim. That is one of Tim's favorite headlines. I believe it's his favorite headline other than Vietnam as the USSR. And Tim is not a fan of cooing. So I will expect to see him spread. That's exactly what he does. Takes Lebanon instead of Syria is interesting. And sets up an immediate Middle East domination. So Peter with an opportunity here, if he wants, he can. Oh, interesting. Looking like he's going to go back into Iraq and take France. Not sure that would be my first priority, but maybe since as the Tim's got Europe scoring, I would have liked to see Tim go into Pakistan here. I would like to see Peter go into Pakistan. When an opponent attacks me in the Middle East like that, I generally say, you know what, go ahead and take your 3 VPs. I will attack other regions. So Peter did that, but he went 3 in France, which is a little bit surprising. The one in Iraq definitely makes sense. But I think I would have responded with 2 Pakistan, 1 Malaysia. But we will see how this works out. Tim could try a coup now, although I don't know how effective it would be. I expect should have been Warsaw. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think to be fair, Tim, if he had NATO, certainly would have played it there. Okay, so wow, Tim spreads out of Libya into Tunisia and then into Pakistan, which makes sense. So Peter is going to try the first coup, get a 3 out of it on a 4-op coup. So that gets him Pakistan, just as if he'd gone there initially, but he had to spend 4 ops to do it. Now he does get 4 mil ops, which helps him. And now Tim with the opportunity to coup back if he likes. We'll see if that is what he opts to do. But wow, I don't know that I've seen influence in Tunisia other than from decall from the USSR so early in the game. So, but okay, he's going to attack Algeria, which suggests Tim doesn't have decall. The other thing that suggests that Tim doesn't have decall is, of course, it's in Peter's hand. So, okay, another 4-op from Tim, and he's going to concede Marshall Plan. Wow. Okay, so Tim takes Algeria and gets 2 into South Korea. So if I'm Peter, I think it's time for Malaysia and India. Yeah, I think if I were him, I would probably accept I'm dominated in the Middle East. Now, Iran still makes a lot of sense as a coup target here for Tim, and Tim does need his mill ops. So Peter may have to scramble to get presents if the coup is decent. Oh yeah, okay. And Tim decides he's going to go ahead and play Middle East for 3, but he went 2 into South Korea and took Algeria before doing that, probably sensing that there was no way he was going to coup Libya. So okay, Tim gets his 3 VPs. And now Peter with a decision. He could space decall if he wants, or Fidel. Oh, and he does go. He does go for the space shot, and he hits, which is interesting. Typically, when I'm under containment, I like to play Fidel, but the space shot makes sense. Neither player had gone to space, and Peter is holding decall for blockade. Going to try and hold it through to turn 3 if he can. We have not seen blockade yet, though. And so Timmy tries a one-op coup in Malaysia. Peter taking no chances. He's going to put 2 there. Tim still needs mill ops. It's AR6. Yeah, you know, well, I might have gone perhaps a little bit more aggressive play there, maybe poking North Korea to stop Tim's presence in Asia. Maybe force a big China card play. But then you're not in Malaysia, so... okay, and there's blockade. Another one-op coup, probably in Iran. Oh, and that's a huge, huge 6 for Tim. So no doubt Peter happy to see blockade. Happy to see blockade played for ops. But Peter now with a decision to make. He can go into Thailand, put 3 there. Doesn't need to reestablish presence in the Middle East right away because Tim scored Middle East for 3. But the common sense play here is to take Thailand, put 3 in there. You know, you have decall in hand, so you know it's not going to get flipped here. And that's exactly what Peter's going to do. Okay. And Peter gets Europe, so he's very happy to see that. Also gets defectors. And duck and cover, but DEFCON at 4, duck and cover, not very strong here. So defectors make sense. Unless Tim, of course, is thinking of headlining Asia. But if I were Tim, I don't think I would headline Asia. I would think I would take my coup take a shot at Thailand. Tim also could have IP war, which is very strong right now. So I think defectors is pretty good. But duck and cover, interesting to protect Thailand from a big China card coup. And Tim would then have to content himself with coupping Panama. Instead, going to go for defectors. And defectors hit Suez. Suez would have been mildly annoying, but probably not what Peter was looking to hit there. Would have just been a pretty easy 2-op repair. And there's the purge, and I will see Thailand. Yep, and Peter, and that's a low percentage coup there because Tim needed a 5 to flip over Thailand. And he didn't get it. And Peter decides to take his coup, and he gets the roll, gets a 4, so flips Iran back. Yep. And Tim says yes. If he gets a 4, he gets 1 into Thailand and he can get Lao. But he's probably even then going to lose the fight for Asia domination. And there's D stall. Okay. So I assume we'll see 1 Angola here. Venezuela, Chile. Yep. And where else? Brazil. Yeah, I like this D stall from Tim. So, yeah, and Peter going to play Europe scoring. I like that. Now, Tim certainly would have played Asia scoring if he had it there because domination had been temporarily stopped. And so he clearly doesn't have it. And Tim, taking no chances, doesn't want to get realigned. Needs to take South Korea before the end of the turn for sure. Tim also could he could easily have 5-year plan and Asia. So Peter gonna leave 2 in Thailand for the moment with DEFCON at 2. That makes sense. He's gonna be able to hold decall through. Now, if he triggers Vietnam, he's gonna obviously have to put another one in Thailand. But if he spaces Vietnam, he may space Vietnam for the 2/3 shot of getting to double space. Yeah, see, in this spot, I might space Vietnam. Yeah, okay. So Peter decides he's going to go ahead and just event the Nazis on the 66% chance. It's not a bad play, but I might be a little bit VP greedy here. Okay, UN for ops suggest almost certainly we're going to see 5-year plan Asia scoring. Peter suspecting that too, which is why he's not taking India. Because Vietnam is going to have to go 1 into Thailand. So if Tim, yeah, okay. So this is pretty easy here. But yeah, if Tim had taken South Korea and not had Asia scoring, then Peter would not be able to both reestablish domination and protect Thailand. Wow, second in Laos also. Interesting. Okay, so all 3 early war regions are scored. Peter with a 5 VP lead. He's ahead in space. He's ahead in Asia. He's ahead in Europe. And there are a couple of Europe attack cards that Peter will be happy to get out of the deck. Also AI War, Romanian, and all 3 Europe attack cards in his hand here. Now with France at 5, I think you will probably see him trigger Suez and de Gaulle. Hope that Tim did not redraw Purge. A Purge redraw here is a disaster for Peter. This is by no means a terrible hand if you don't get purged. He will be able to double space. So you can hold SOC Govs for blockade. You can space decall. You can trigger de Gaulle and Suez, get them out permanently, and still maintain your Europe domination. Yeah, Josiah making an interesting point about potentially trying Miracle Chile realigns. Didn't go for it, decided to take Iraq instead. And there's the purge. Okay, that is a huge problem for Peter. Rolls a 6-1 in the Olympics to pick up a couple of VPs. So now Peter is going to have to hold decall, and then he's going to space SOC Govs and probably de Gaulle. Big coup on Iran, and yeah, Peter cannot take that back. So yeah, I think taking India is fine because Peter has also drawn IP war, which certainly is going to get triggered here. I lost a game to an IP war yesterday, among other things. And Tim misses on the roll, so small favor there for Peter. That was yeah, good move, Peter. Yeah. A good play. Ignore Iran and take India because Tim rolled a 4. So had he not done that, Pakistan would have flipped. So yep, I think we'll see de Gaulle spaced. I like that, and then I think we'll see SOC Gov spaced as well. That would be my play. Some people prefer to space Suez instead because it removes more influence. I generally like to space SOC Govs and stomach Suez to get it out permanently. Okay, and then there's Korean War. I suspect we'll just, oh no, you're going to take Iran. And yeah, Peter certainly doesn't need to worry about, or Tim certainly doesn't need to worry about an ops war in South Korea with Peter purged. And Tim knows a lot of Peter's hand. So Peter spaces again with SOC Govs and hits the roll. So now he has headline peak heading into the mid-war. Tim not even off the ground yet. So looking at the board here, Europe obviously looking very strong for Peter, Asia looking very strong for Peter, but Middle East, South America, and Africa both looking good for Tim. And the VP track for Peter looking good too, as Tim has Europe scoring. So that one, so a tough start for Tim on the VP track, but as long as he gets his mid-war scorings in the Middle East, he's very much in this game. Another 5-year plan Asia wouldn't hurt either. See, Truman is gone, although I guess at this point Europe is scored. So there are more important things to do to overprotect France. Interesting. Goes with Costa Rica, and now he's only with 2 ops left the rest of the turn, presumably to take Mexico. Ordinarily would be worried about Ordinarily here would be worried about a France jam if Tim had not just scored Europe. Oh, wow. China card play here. Oh, it's going to take Japan before even taking South Korea. Wow. I guess Tim does have it in his hand, so makes sense. And wow, Peter going to go ahead and fill Portugal to protect Italy from brush war and reestablish Europe domination. But Europe was just scored. I'm surprised that Peter is not going into Mexico. Yep. Okay. And Tim with Asia scoring. I don't understand why Tim wouldn't take South Korea first. Why wouldn't take South Korea and then Japan? That would have stopped domination. Peter is purged. He wasn't going to be able to do much about that. Wow. I'm very surprised by Tim's line of play there. He had Korean War. Korean War could have just taken South Korea. But okay. Doesn't do it. And Peter now scores. So Peter scores the domination, get up to 18 VPs for blue. And then Tim does pick up a couple of VPs. And here are some scorings. So Southeast Asia scoring wins the game for Peter if Tim can't find some VPs in the headline or obviously something to disrupt Southeast Asia. The rest of this hand is trash. Lone Gunman and Libs and Decal all in your hand and can't space any of the... Okay, and there's Brush War. So I wonder... So Brush War is interesting. Thailand is a potential target, but needs a 5. Peter could headline Southeast Asia here and say, you know what, Tim, if you can roll a 5, good for you. But I think Grain makes more sense with South America scoring in his hand. Okay, so Tim realizing that... Okay, and Tim going for Panama and just getting the 1 VP. Okay, Peter picks up special relationship. This will be a coup. He wants to go into South America, but I think he's probably going to just hope that it doesn't get filled up and score it quickly. Okay, so Tim plays Brush War in the headline because he was worried about a Southeast headline. Very smart play by Tim. Sees grain sales, knows that he has to win the Brush War anyway in the event of Southeast Asia scoring, so he goes for the best odds, gets them, and flips Panama. And now Peter has some absolute garbage to deal with. Even if he plays a China card, he's going to have to deal with one of Libs or Decal, which is a big problem for him. So Peter can still pick up 4 with Southeast Asia. And now 1. Okay, and he's going to take Africa domination. So I suspect we'll see Peter dump South America here at just -3. I've got 3 scorings in my hand. I'm absolutely... Or it would be -4, I suppose. Instead he's going to go to space and try and win the game that way. Misses on the roll. Boy, he really needed those 4 ops. And there's Africa for Tim. Tim scores a domination. And yeah, I think Peter really probably wishes he had those 4 ops back. Now, the other thing, of course, is that a casual flower power on turn 4 can often turn into 8 VPs for the red side. So yeah, I'm very surprised to see him space there. The quick decision to take Africa Dom might have been a giveaway that Tim had Africa scoring. I don't know that there was much that could have been. You could have obviously taken South Africa and fought there. but not much in the way of just not much in the way of ops here for Peter. So yeah, I think Central America is next. That is going to be an even scoring. And just absolute garbage here for Peter. We're going to space. Tim's going to space, finally gets off the ground, and now we'll see Southeast Asia score, which is going to be, it looks like it's going to be 5 for Peter. And Peter reaching for China here, mostly because he just doesn't want to play these bad cards. So he's going to have to stomach Libs, Decall, or Gunman. Now, the one saving grace for Peter, obviously, is that the scoring came out. So we were talking about, I was talking about the potential situation. As I said, hey, as long as Tim gets his scorings, this is a very even game. And Tim got his scorings perhaps a little earlier than he wanted. Southeast Asia comes as well. So now the only region yet to score is Middle East. Peter looking like he wants to fill up Israel. Camp David not in effect at the moment. But AI War is in the discard pile. Okay, and now Tim concedes US-Japan. So he spent China. This is a bizarre play here from Tim. Tim spent China to take Japan, didn't take South Korea to stop Dom, and then gave up US-Japan instead of spacing it, giving up CRGs. I'm very confused by that. And if Peter had not had the China card here, he would have had to give up both Libs and Decall. I think Tim could have blocked Asia on turn 2 with Purge. Or turn 3 with Purge, and I think Peter had a chance if he goes 2 South Africa, 1 Philippines, could threaten the win right there. But as it stands, and then Tim would have probably had to space in response. But as it is, we move on to turn 5, and this hand a little bit better, gets Junta. Alliance for Progress completely worthless at the moment. Muslim a good space card. No other good space card here. And yeah, now with no China card in hand, Peter's going to have to give Decall here. He'll certainly space Muslim. Although, actually, what would make the most sense is to give up Gunman here. So Peter hoping not to see a DEFCON degrader from Tim, and then so he can give up Gunman. And nope. Not good enough. So Tim's going to take 3 VPs with We Will Bury You and stick Peter with the Gunman. Junta, I think, still makes sense here, but I think you use it to take Mexico. I think you used it to take Mexico back. Yeah, that's painful for Peter. Not how he wanted to be using Junta there. Yep, that's the right play. So Central not looking too bad. Fidel's still around, though, even though the scoring is not. The only scoring available right now is the Middle East. Peter with a 12 VP lead, but all of a sudden, outside of Europe and Asia, this board looks quite bad. And now on AR1 here, I would expect him to put a couple into Nigeria. I'd also expect him to maybe get one into South Africa as well. Yep, 2 Nigeria makes sense and 1 South Africa. Yep. Tim and I thinking alike. Peter wants to get those 3 VPs from space. He's going to give up 3. Will he get them right back? He will. And he's got double space here, which is interesting. I wonder if Peter will space Duck or Alliance to try and get to discard and dump the Gunman. Yeah, Camp David to stop double space. He hits it, so that won't happen. We will not have a double space situation. Camp David would have been really nice for Peter to get there. Now Peter, no, I don't like this. I think you need to poke Egypt here. Oh, I always like overprotecting France. I think you need to poke Egypt before you play Sadat. Oh, Peter already prepping for decall here. Indonesia, not that important a country here, though. Asia, Peter with already 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 countries in Asia. Losing Indonesia would hardly be the end of the world. Um, and yeah, Tim going to take South Africa. And I believe Tim knows that Peter has an unspaceable decall in his hand. Okay, so Peter fills up Israel, which is interesting. Could set up a very dramatic late war, Arab-Israeli war, with Camp David not in effect. And Tim going to pick up more VPs. That's a 5 VP OPEC. He'll take that. That's actually worth salting for if Tim's got that in his hand. So at this point, yeah. So yeah, Tim looks like he's just gonna, or Peter looks like he's going to give up decall here. Decall not terrible here, but you do have to put an op in Thailand. And I think you've got to put one in Cameroon and one in Thailand. Yep, that's right. I think I would have put I might have put the extra that D-stall prep op that he put into Indonesia into Thailand instead. Tim going to coup Cameroon, set up realigns on Zaire, and threaten Africa control. Gets a big roll. Peter needs his mill ops anyway, so I'd expect a C5 coup of Zimbabwe here to protect Zaire. Oh, and he rolls a 1. I think we've got some folks in the chat who have rolled 1s on anything but a 1 coups in Africa. I certainly did that yesterday. So Peter does it now, and will he get punished with the realigns? He will not. Tim misses on those rolls. Wow. I don't understand that. I do not understand that. A Sadat poking Egypt, or A for P poking Egypt and 1 in Zimbabwe, followed by Sadat to take Egypt, evens out the Middle East, which is the only unscored region. And then you even out the only unscored region. Now, Tim probably coups Zimbabwe and sets up realigns on AR7, but maybe you steal a coup there. Okay, I see. Okay, Peter thinking about holding a 3 out for blockade, but realizing too late that he couldn't discard the blockade anyway. So yeah, filling up UK is smart with special evented. If we're not going to try the Egypt play, 1 Costa Rica, 1 Colombia is not a bad play here to threaten Panama realigns. I'm really surprised that Peter did not poke Egypt and then play Sadat on AR7 to even up the Middle East. Muslims is gone. Obviously, Iraq is scary, to potentially have that flipped. But Muslims is gone. You also need to protect in the event of an AI war. Okay. So this hand, not great. Lots of 1-ops. We've got 4 1-ops in hand. UN is nice to get rid of gunmen. The problem is you can't hold Kennedy if you do that. This, again, is a situation where I would probably, oh boy, I wonder if this is a situation where you give up gunmen and so you can hold Kennedy to AR7, potentially get Middle East out of it. But the problem is if you do that, Tim could poke in the Middle East and score Middle East for presenceless Dom on AR1, which would be 6, 7, 8, 9 VPs. I don't think you can give up 9 VPs. So yeah, I think Missile Envy is fine here. Oh man, That's a nice play by Tim there to realign Iraq at +1. Flips it completely. That's something I often miss is those realigns in the early war regions. But yes, now Israel eminently realignable by Tim, and if Tim can get him out, Peter will not have any influence in the Middle East. So okay, shuttle is just going to be a 1VP play here. Not a bad card to give. And missile for a coup in Zaire would be my guess. Oh, and Tim misses on the roll. Oh, okay. Oh, he's going to go for a coup. I wonder if I'd give gunman here. Nope. Okay. I'm going to take a 3-op coup of Brazil. So okay, so he's going to UN gunman and then go into turn 7 with no hand. Put Kennedy back in the deck. All right, you've got to use cultural here. In fact, I probably would have used it for the coup, but I understand why he wanted the big 4-op coup. Yep, this play is not bad. The old Colombia poke Venezuela, especially with Brazil overprotected. Still a little nervous about Zaire, though, if I'm Peter. Now let's also talk about VOA. So what are our VOA targets here? If Tim weren't in Tunisia, Libya and Egypt would be interesting VOA targets. But he is, so it just gets him Egypt back. Argentina already at 3, pretty VOA proof. I think this is probably going to have to be an AR7 VOA for Peter. There's not much it's going to be able to do in the middle of the turn. It will get him one Middle East battleground. Well, of course, if he plays VOA, then yeah, he's going to have to play. He'll play Kennedy for ops to take it. But yeah, this hand here is pretty garbage for Peter. So he's got voice, a 3-op play, and 3 1-op plays. Ooh, salt for the event. And I'm going to pick up brush. What's brush going to do? Brazil would be my guess. I wonder if you give up gunman now, because Tim is not playing. Tim is not playing like a man who has Middle East scoring. I don't know that I would. I think I might give up the gunman here. I like the idea of holding. Okay, so this makes sense. Protects Brazil from brush war. Makes it a less juicy target. But you're also out of ops the rest of the way. It's going to realign Israel. Yep. And this is why I like giving gunmen here. So Peter's going to stop that, go remove from Lebanon and Egypt. Now, DEFCON's still at 4. Israel no longer realignable. And maybe Peter didn't want to give up gunman and show how weak his hand is. But man, I'm really surprised to see him play Kennedy for ops when a bad Middle East scoring is coming out. I would have liked to see him hold Kennedy, get rid of the gunman. Getting rid of the gunman at DEFCON 4 really isn't that bad, because if he coups Zaire and gets a big roll, you can just coup it back. Getting rid of a DEFCON 3 a little bit more painful. Okay, NORAD for influence. He's got to reestablish Middle East Dom. Oh, he's not going to be able to do it, but Peter doesn't have the scoring. Okay, now gunman. Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. No, 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 no. You give gunman there, I think, because now Tim still gets a coup. Gunman is still in the deck. Comes back for the late war. Yeah, and Tim gets the last coup. Misses on the roll. You've still got only just a couple of one-off plays. I do not like the decision from Peter there not to give the gunman on. Okay, and here we go. Brush could be going to go Pakistan and hit the roll. Now Tim's still with domination in Asia, but Peter's still with domination in Asia, but only because of shuttle. And of course, Middle East should score first because Peter got rid of Kennedy. So, okay, we head into the end to turn 7 and post reshuffle. So Peter did mention to me that his internet conked out a little bit, so we had to restart the video. So I'm gonna go get the second part of the video now. Sorry for the delay, folks. Peter did mention this, and that's why I have 2 videos here. Okay, so all right, just getting this done. Hold on one moment, everyone. And here we go. So Brush, as we saw, takes Pakistan, and then Peter with 1 op to take Lebanon. And here we go. Oh boy, this would have. And it gets Europe. So Europe scoring is certainly nice to have, but this would have been a great hand to Kennedy away. Fidel, blockade, Middle East, and Willie, all good candidates for Kennedy. But as it is, Peter does at least get Europe. So Middle East is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 VPs for Tim. Europe, he'll get back 5 of those. Josiah, Bert is duck and cover. Duck and cover has Bert the turtle. That is right. I did not notice that. But Tim did not take back Middle East domination. So Middle East right now, just 3 with shuttle. So we could see a headline of Middle East, depending on what Tim headlines. This is a great time to have headline peak. Now, unfortunately, this is a bad time to have blockade. You don't have anything good to discard to it, so you're probably going to have to UN it, or you will use it. You could potentially discard Cuban to it, but then you're going to have to UN Fidel and miss an action round, or obviously just concede Fidel and realign it. Yeah, I think you. So CMC here. Yeah, I like headlining Middle East. So just 3 for Tim off of Middle East scoring. So Tim got to be frustrated with that. I had a firm grip on Middle East the whole game. And give Peter credit. His mid-turn VOA was quite strong, stopped Israel from being realigned, it flipped over Lebanon, and eventually got him 3 VPs in the Middle East. Now, what I would have liked to see Peter do is give up gunmen, and then you can even take a coup of Lebanon with gunmen if you wanted, or just take a coup in Africa. Now Tim takes a coup in Africa, and all of a sudden Peter finds himself controlled there. And Peter understandably takes Taiwan to reestablish Asia domination. Circles Canada as a reminder that NORAD is active, but Canada not full. Oh boy, and Che is going to take, Colombia makes sense, and then I would expect to see Nicaragua here because Tim knows about Fidel. And Peter just played his only 3-op, so now there's no option here for Peter to discard to blockade. He's going to have to UN it and give up Fidel. I would expect to see the Pope evented here. Yep, an arms race for Tim. 3 more VPs. I like getting my scoring off here. Yeah, I like this. So the Pope, I think, has got to be an event. Willie is going to have to be a coup. So we're going to give up another VP with Willie. Yeah, and there goes Usuri to space. Tim will miss on that roll. So, usually we talk about when we talk about the space race, it's the USSR that doesn't want to get to the 4 spot too early. And the U.S. usually happy to advance as far as they can, as fast as they can. But the opposite is true here. Peter advanced to the 4th spot in the space track by the end of the early war, and then but had decall in hand, which he couldn't space. And then he also drew libs. He's now going to have to give Fidel. He's now going to have to give Willie. And obviously he ate a purge in there somewhere there as well on turn 3. So just a little bit of a rough go of it here from Peter. Has had to give up some unpleasant events. And Tim at this point should know all of Peter's cards. Actually, we would not have known about that UN redraw. Nuclear subs, yep, to stop Asia Dom. I like that. I wonder if Tim redrew the scoring. And that's what he's making Peter think as well. Because Peter needs a coup. If he guesses, if he doesn't refill India, and Tim has the scoring, that's 5 VPs you miss out on. Okay, on one. All right, Dominican Republic. Peter saving his mill ops for the last turn, for the last AR of the turn. Yeah, I guess he'll get a coup in Africa here. Oh, 5-year plan alongside OAS. Okay, well, should have known about OAS. I was not thinking about it, but yes, that makes sense why he'd give up an early nuke subs. Okay, 5-year plan and OAS. Is the play just 2 Chile? I think, which then gets repaired. And then Tim takes a battleground coup in Africa, and then Peter takes a battleground coup in Africa. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you take Peru, force Tim to take Chile and Uruguay, or just Chile because he's not going to have domination. Okay, yeah, I think I would have rather made a play that Tim needed 2 ops to fix, and then Peter coups Nicaragua to set up Central American realigns, which I get, but boy, I think I'd rather have a battleground coup in Africa with nuclear subs in effect. And notably, Peter still did not find the ops to fill up Canada. Okay, here, interesting hand here for Peter. He's got Purge, and he's also got Iron Lady with Sock Gov, so we might see an Iron Lady event here. He's got EEU with the Pope just evented. So purge in the headline, followed by EEU mid-turn potentially flips Poland. I think I like eventing Iron Lady. I like eventing Alliance. I like eventing Special Relationship. So that's all that together is 5 VPs. Then I think you play Sock Govs for Ops because it'll be free, and then Pershing it goes to space. I think I like a purge here. Yep, I think this is right. And you just hope that Tim does not have Central America scoring. Although Peter does have 5 countries to Tim's 2. So no way he can get domination with this, with just libs. Yep, and I don't, yeah, and Peter says, yeah, it should have been 2 Chile. Peru, not that important a country. And if Tim able to poke India and stop domination. But at the moment, not looking like a particularly important play because we'll see if Tim has the scoring. Okay, 2 Mexico, and then Missile Envy for the event is going to get... Yeah, I guess you give Pershing. That makes sense. Europe is scored, so you can give the 1 VP here. But now Peter's not going to space. Unless he plays Iron Lady for Ops and spaces Sock Govs. Okay, Peter gets the role in Nigeria. So he stops Africa control for the moment. Now Tim with an interesting decision. He could take Mexico, but it is set up for realigns. He obviously under Purge is not going to fight an ops war in West Germany, especially with Europe scored. But Tim's going to now need to take back. And there's a coup. All right, and Kitchen not active. Yeah, see, I like... Tim definitely would have dumped Asia scoring there if he had it. I like Iron Lady for the event, and then Sock Govs. Get yourself a VP, and then you can use Sock Govs to take UK, West Germany, and then you use Special Relationship. Oh boy, and there's Africa. I would like to see Alliance here to deactivate Reformer. You're playing Alliance. It's not getting any better. It goes Costa Rica. Not sure how important Costa Rica is. I think I might have... I understand why he doesn't want to fix West Germany because Special Relationship can fix it for him. But I would like to put Special Relationship into France because we still have Reformer coming, even though Sock Govs is going to be gone. Yep, Special Relationship into West Germany. Okay, so Tim does not have the Reformer. I would expect we would see it here if he had it. Tim gets the gunman, so Peter is not bitten by that. Not bitten by that decision. I liked giving it up, but he chooses not to, and doesn't come back to haunt him. But yeah, Tim gonna protect against EEU, which he now knows is coming. I would still absolutely event it if I'm Peter. Keep the door open to Europe control. Tim lucky he can still space 2s. Sock goes to space, and Peter misses on the roll, so he's going to have to hold on to Marine Barracks bombing. And Iran-Iraq war for a coup where? Nicaragua? Yep, Nicaragua coup. Misses on the roll. And so now I would certainly still event EEU, no question about it. Okay, well, take South America domination. Take South domination. That makes sense too. Um, uh, yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Yeah, I think yeah, I want to be polite and respect other people's line of play and the decisions that they make because I mean anybody watch the game that I played yesterday, they saw me make mistakes and I make mistakes just like everybody else. But I think people also expect me to think about other lines of play that people could make. Saying that makes sense after every play is kind of boring. Um, so just trying to be a little bit thought provoking here, get people thinking about other stuff. And we will, so we'll see how this goes. Tim headlines IP war. That is a big, big IP war. And would take away Peter's domination if he hits it. Tim already hit one IP war today, and we'll see if he can get another. This is a little bit of a problematic hand for Peter. He's got VOA, Bear Trap, and Grain, which is great, along with Duck and Cover, which can get him 3 VPs. But he's also got Decall, AI War, which is actually a problem. Usually not an issue here on turn 9, but a 6 on the AI War is a big, big, big problem. So Peter decides he's going to take 3 VPs from Duck and Cover. I like that play. We could see a mid-turn Grain here. And Peter just going to hope that Tim misses on this war, and he does. So Peter's certainly going to space OPEC here rather than give up 5 VPs. Yep, and that is one consequence to lowering DEF CON is you unfortunately give up Tim able to just refill Chile. I like this here. Oh my goodness, what a pull. What a pull. So I think the play here is Argentina. I think it's got to be Argentina. Oh, and he misses on the roll. That would have almost been GG to flip Argentina and immediately take South America domination and threaten Chile realigns. That would have been absolutely huge. So what a pull by Peter there with Grain. And there's Ortega for the event. Gets a coup on Costa Rica. Wow. Okay. And so I was going to say, why not just coup Nicaragua? Anything but a 1 is better than the event. But if you, because you get mill ops out of it. But if you can clear 1 out of Costa Rica and stop Dom, then why not have at it? Nice job, Tim. Of course, if you just rolled that 5 in Costa Rica and Nicaragua, would be better off right now. But all right. Okay, I think Muslims is free at the moment. Muslims was free already, so not losing Muslims from the deck, not a big deal. So Peter has to space OPEC. He gets the roll. He probably would have spaced OPEC anyway, even if the North Sea had been played, because he really wants to discard one of these cards. Tim spacing Star Wars to stop Headline Peak, and he gets it. So an interesting decision to make here. Peter, I'm sure, would love to hold VOA to turn 10, but he also would like to be able to discard one of these bad cards. I think you got to go Syria here. Yep. You're taking Syria as the U.S. Okay, the war rolls a 1. And still, so NORAD's been active for about 5 turns now. Peter has not found the 1-op to take Canada. Surprised not to see that. Okay. Oh, that's right. Tim knows that Peter has has Marine barracks bombing, so knows that he's going to get Lebanon by the end of the turn, unless Peter wants to give up decall, which I don't think he will. So good play by Tim there. I like that. And so looking at the board, this one looks like Peter's to lose. He has Europe domination. He has Asia domination, albeit foremost and aided. He's way behind in the Middle East and Africa. But he's got a 5 VP lead. South America's even. And okay, there's war games. So that's not going to play a factor here. And this has got to go to Nicaragua. Yeah. So Central America, Ortega is gone. So you could see this. Yep. Peter read my mind there. I exactly just forced him to have a 3-op to fix that. Central America unscored. South also unscored. So we'll see what scorings come up in the late war. This could make it as, and there's Asia. So Quag and I think you get rid of Quag. Muslim, I don't know that it's a 4-op. It's inactive. Now, if Missile Envy were around, I absolutely would keep Muslim. But it is not. So Peter decides to dump it. I think that's fine. And Tim cannot take Cuba back. So okay, Marine barracks here. You're going to give up Lebanon and then probably to Israel. So Peter can put 1 back into Cuba here if he likes. We may see a coup here in Nicaragua rather than putting anything back. Yeah, because he can. Oh, and that's a bad one. That is a bad one. So risking 1s in Nicaragua. Tim didn't want to do it, and it paid off. Okay, wow. South America scoring and 2 power cards here for Peter. He no longer has headline peak. But Tim also, France still sitting at 3, and Tim could have Reformer here, which would be a big problem for Peter. Especially with this Junta headline, because you're going to see DEFCON drop. And Reformer is going to be able to steal France with no consequence. Yeah, that's a very nice turn 10 hand for Peter, especially now CRGs is nice to have. Yeah, but there's the Reformer. Even though it's inactive, that's going to flip France. And that takes Europe from blue domination to red domination. Now, obviously, Peter's going to be able to fix that easily. But he's going to have to spend ops to do it. Now, he's got a lot of ops in his hand. He's got a couple of 4-ops. He has an opportunity to space Comic-Con if he wants for a potential shot at 4 VPs. Okay, and Tim is just going to put 2 more into Poland. Rather than do something like breaks Portugal, because he wants to, because he's probably got to give up solidarity here now. So Tim can now flip France over, but if he does that, Peter's going to flip Argentina and score South America domination. Yep, and with South America unscored, now obviously Tim doesn't know that it's in Peter's hand, but he does know it's unscored. Europe definitely is scored. I think maybe Tim takes back Argentina. And if he does that, then Peter has a 4-op available to fix France. With this hand and with China in my hand, definitely rather be in Peter's spot. Tim thinking about what to do here. This is an important decision on his part. Okay, he's got a 4-up. Gonna event Glasnost. Okay, gonna take VPs. Oh, I like this decision from Tim. So now Peter can take France back, but he's going to give up a coup. Or he can take a coup. Oh, and he misses. And now another 4-up from Tim takes France and Argentina. That was also Peter's space card. Yeah, that was a very, very good play by Tim. I'm here for the mocking of Tim and the making fun of his plays, but that was an excellent decision by him. So now if Tim has a 4-op, he can take France and Argentina. He does not. So I assume we'll see one Argentina. Okay, and Nicaragua to protect Cuba. He will give France back to Peter. Okay, so that was a big moment in the game there, with Tim not having the cards that he needed. Peter going to overprotect it, make sure this doesn't happen again. So, okay, let's look at the board. Peter with a 3 VP lead. South America is going to be even unless we see a big ABM coup. So 5 for Peter in Europe. 5 for him in Asia, so that's 10. Right now, Middle East is, assuming Peter takes back Israel, that's going to be 6 for Peter, and then 6 more for Peter in Africa. So then South America even, so 12, and then Central America, assuming it ends like it does, that's going to be 2 for Peter. It's going to be 2 for Tim, rather. So 14 on the board for Tim, and 10 on the board for Peter. Peter also has 3 VPs and China. Okay, Reagan bombs is yet to take. I like taking Egypt here. I don't understand that. Okay, that's okay. So he's going to use CRGs. Now, CRGs could have broken South Africa and Algeria, but it still wouldn't have stopped domination because he's down in country count so much. Okay, CRG is not a great event here. But I think I like it better than Reagan bombs. So we'll see. Okay, solidarity. Now, Tim not going to worry about that. Poland is overprotected. We'll see a coup here in Guatemala. Just Tim trying to get Central Dom because this one's going to be real close. This ABM coup is going to be enormous. And I wonder if we'll see Peter take this coup in Argentina, and then because he has the scoring in hand to get double the value if he gets a big roll. I think Argentina is the play. Yep, needs a 4 here, wins in the game. Oh, and he gets a 3. Okay, but now Tim used a 2-op before. I wonder, we will see if Tim has got a 3-op left to take Argentina back. Oh, he takes his Central Dom. Okay, 4 VPs there. Now Peter with a chance to take Dom himself, or to score a 4 VP Dom himself. Yep, and I think I like that decision. So now Peter up 3. Oh man, this one is close. 3 Doms for each of them at the moment, and a 3 VP lead for Peter. So tough decision. Tough decision here. Tim has got to. So Central and South even out, and Tim is +2 because he has 6 in each of, or he rather now has. So 3, 4. He has got 5 in Middle East, which is going to become 4 with Israel, and Africa's 6. So Europe, Asia, Africa, Middle East cancel each other out. Central and South cancel each other out at the moment. And Peter with a 3 VP lead and China. Oh, and he's going to have to give Camp David. That is painful. Tim does not want to give Camp David there. That's going to be a VP for the event and another for Israel. And Tim realizes that this one is lost. And now Peter takes South America domination. Wow, what an interesting game this was. And Peter doing his math, and he's going to like what he sees. Middle East now just 4. Central is 5. Oh, my goodness. And Tim had CIA and Asia as well. Okay. Wow, what a game. And so Tim decides he's going to lose on DEF CON rather than give up Asia scoring. So, wow. Heck of a game. Well played by both players. Not a fun one here on a Wednesday afternoon. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Peter and Tim. Although, no thank you for Tim, because Tim didn't have anything to do with it. But thank you, Peter, at least, for sharing the game. This was a fun one to watch. And a nice win there for Peter. Tim, obviously a very good player, and congratulations to Peter for taking the win. So thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will be back. Okay, fine. Thank you, Tim, for Thank you, Tim, for not telling Peter he wasn't allowed to share the video. So I will be back tomorrow. Trying to just, a lot of players would take a break after the tough losses that I had the last couple of days. I am just going to try and get right back on the horse and forget this one, move on, trying to get an OTSL win over Lucas Fuchs. So join me tomorrow afternoon for that. But in the meantime, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.